Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Faith. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to cut a two-piece short sleeve collar shirt and a short. If you're interested in this video, watch to the end. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Show your girl love and hit the subscribe button. Also, I upload once a week, mostly on Sundays, so turn on your notification bell for you to be notified whenever a new video is up. If you have any question, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. Like and share this video if you find it helpful. So let's get started. What you need for this project is you need your elastic, 1-inch elastic, your tailor's chalk, your collar gum, some people call it peplum stay, okay, your fabric, your scissors, your tape, also your client's measurements. All right, so I already have my fabric laid out, okay, and this one is for the front panel, while this is for the back panel. All right, guys, and the back panel is shorter than the front panel by 3 inches. Okay, so it's on fold. Both the front panel and the back panel on fold. This is the front panel, okay, and also this is for the back, is also on fold. As you can see, is on fold into 2. So 2 inches will be on fold, while the remaining 1 inch will be for the overlapping of the button side and the buttonhole side of the shirt at the front. Okay, so this is my starting point line. I've marked it out already. Okay, and for my client's measurements, I have bust 45, waist 43, shoulder 17, top length 28, and we'll be cutting the trouser as well. The trouser is for the waist 44, hip 52, lap 30, trouser length and the round measurement to be 21 by 24. Okay, so for the shoulder measurement, our shoulder is shoulder 17 divided by 2 will have 8.5, plus half an inch sewing allowance will give us 9 inches. Okay, so we'll start the shoulder measurement from this point here. This is where you're going to start from, not from this other side. Okay, because this 3 inches is not going to be part of it. So you place your tape rule like so. Okay, then you mark your shoulder measurements here. So the next thing is from here, we'll measure 9.5 inches downward. From here to here is 9 inches. You add half an inch to it, we give you 9.5 for the armhole depth. Okay, so you measure it here as well. Then you connect the 2 points together to form a straight line. Okay, then you come to this down part as well. You place your 9 inches here, then you mark it here as well. Then you connect the 2 points together like so. Okay, so now for the top length, you know our top length is 28 inches. So we'll mark 28 inches here like this. Then we'll mark it on at the other side as well. Sorry if you cannot see it, but you know what, the back panel is always longer than the front panel, so we'll add 1.5 inches to that 28, so we give us 29.5. So I've marked 29.5 on this other side. Okay, then I will now come to this side also to mark the 29.5. Okay, so this is the 29.5. Then I'll come here as well, mark the 29.5 here as well. Then we'll connect the points together with a straight line. So the next thing is we'll come here, then we'll measure half an inch downward. We'll mark half an inch downward like that. Okay, then we'll come to the neck area here and measure 3 inches width. We'll mark it like that. Then we'll measure 3 inches depth as well. The 3 inches depth is for the front panel. Okay, so you shape it out, the neck area, like so. Okay, then for the back panel, the depth is 1 inch. Okay, so you shape it out like that as well. All right, then you connect this point to the point on the armhole line to form our shoulder slope. Okay, like this. The next thing is we'll find the midpoints of the remaining measurements on the armhole line. So what we have here is we have 9 inches. So 9 divided by 2 will give us 4.5. On that 4.5 mark, we'll come in by half an inch. Okay, then you join the point to the shoulder slope point there. Okay, so now the next thing we'll do is for the bust measurement. You know our bust measurement is bust 45 divided by 4 will give us 11.2. Okay, we'll have 11.2. Then we'll add 1 inch sewing allowance to it, so we'll have 12.2. So we'll mark it there. So for her half length now, our half length is 17 inches. So I mark 17 inches here. Then from the half length, you mark 9 inches downward. That is where our hip line is. So I marked it there as well. And our hip is hip 52. So we'll divide 52 by 4. Okay, it will give us 13 inches. All right, 13 inches. Then we'll add 1 inch for the sewing allowance to make it 14 inches. So we'll mark 14 inches on the hip points. All right. So for the waist measurements now, our waist measurement is waist 43, but I'll be doing 44. Okay, I'll add 1 inch to that 43, making 44. So 44 divided by 4 will give us 11 inches. Okay, so that 11 inches now, I will add 1 inch sewing allowance to it, make it 12 inches. So I'm going to mark 12 inches on the half length measurement there. Okay, then we'll connect all the points together. So I have connected all the points together down to the base of the shirt. Okay, so for the armhole, you just draw your curve. All right, if you have your armhole curve, you can use it, or you use your free hand. All right, so guys, this shirt is not a fitted shirt. Okay, this is a free shirt. All right, for her bust measurements, her waist measurements, and her hip measurements, I added 2 inches to them. Okay, all right. So what we're going to do now is to measure the armhole. Okay, so what we have here is we have 11.7. Okay, so by the time we sew half an inch on the shoulder area, we'll be left with 11.2. Then by the time we sew 1 inch for the side seam allowance, we'll be left with 10.2, which is very, very okay for the armhole because it will allow free movement of the arm. All right, so we'll come to the neck area here. All right, that will measure we'll take the neck measurements as well. So for the front panel, we have 5.2. So by the time we sew half an inch from it, we'll be left with 4.7. So we take that 4.7 there, we'll measure it from that place as well. See the way I'm measuring it. So what we have all together is we have 8.7. So by the time we sew half an inch from the 8.7 to we'll have 8.2. So the total neck measurement for this my client is 16.5, because that 8.7 you minus half an inch from it to give us 8.2 times 2 we have 16.5. So for this place, okay, we'll mark 3 inches inward from the first line. From this point, you place 3 inches on it, then you mark it inward like so. All right, then you join that point to this point here. Okay, but before we do that, our 3 inches that we have at the front here, we'll fold 2 inches in, so we'll be left with the 1 inch for the overlapping in front. So we'll make sure we fold 2 inches in and measure to check if you have 1 inch there. And I think, yeah, we have 1 inch here. All right, so the next thing is for us to connect the 2 points together. We'll do the same thing for the back panel too. So we'll connect this point to that same 3 inch point there. Okay, as you can see guys, we are done. The next thing is to cut, and we'll be cutting the back panel first. As you can see, I'm cutting the back panel first. Don't make the mistake of cutting the back panel as the front panel, because the front panel markings are on it. Okay, but for the shoulder, the armhole, and for the sides, you are going to cut both the front and the back panel together as I'm doing. So when you get to this down part here, okay, you won't continue cutting it. We'll come to this side. This line is for the back panel, so this is the one we are going to cut first, like this. And we are done cutting the back panel out. Okay, this is the cuttings for the back panel. The down part and the neck area, the cuttings are for the back panel. So we'll make adjustments for the front panel. So we'll raise the back panel up, then we'll adjust, we'll mark out the measurement on the front panel. You see the neck measurement like this. Then we'll come to this down part as well. Then we'll connect to that point before we now cut it out. So like that. For the back for the front panel, then for the front panel neck area as well. So this is for the back. Okay, then we set it aside, and this is for the front. The next thing we'll be doing is to cut the sleeves. All right, so now for the sleeve, okay, I already have my fabric folded into 4 places, and the amount of fabric that is unfolded into 4 places is 42 inches. So divided by 4, we have 10.5. As you can see, the width of the sleeve is 10.5. So now I come here and mark 4 inches here. Okay, the sleeve length itself is 11 inches. All right, but we'll need 2 inches for folding at the tip, so making 13. Then we'll need half an inch to join the sleeve to the main body, making 13.5. So we'll just cut 14 inches. Okay, so we'll mark 14 inches there, then we'll mark 14 inches there and join the 2 points together. So now the next thing is to shape the sleeve. Okay, so like this. All right, Then we'll now check the measurement if it's same as our armhole measurement. Remember, our armhole measurement is 11.7. So if you approximate it, to give us 12. So if you remove half an inch from it for the shoulder allowance, to give us 11.5. So here we have 11.5. Let me do it this way so you can see it clearly. Okay, so what we have here is 11.5. all right, so we'll come to this place here, okay, to mark out our round sleeve. My client's round sleeve is 17 divided by 2 will give us 8.5, plus 1 inch sewing allowance will give us 9.5. So we'll mark 9.5 here for the round sleeve. Okay, then we'll connect this point to these other points here. All right, guys, the next thing is to cut it out. All right, and that is it. The next thing we will do is we will notch this place, and we are done with the sleeve as well. So what we'll cut right now is to cut the trouser. So for the trouser now, my fabric is unfolded into 2, and this is my starting point line. All right, and the band will be cut together with the main trouser. Okay, we won't be cutting the band separately. All right, so the band width will be 2 inches. Okay, and that 2 inches, it will be unfold. So if it's unfold, it will be 4 inches. All right, all together. Then we will need half an inch, okay, to sew it down, so making 4.5. So I'll come here now and mark 4.5 here, then come to this side as well and mark my 4.5. Then I'll connect the 2 points together. So this is my new starting point line. So from here now, I will measure my client's crotch measurement, which is 10.5. I've marked it here. Then I'll mark 10.5 on this side as well, then connect the 2 points together. So now for the trouser length, remember it's a short trouser, okay, and the full length is 21 inches. So you place 2 inches on this second starting point line, as you can see, then that's where our 21 inches is. But remember, we have to fold it at the down part as well with 2 inches, so we'll have 23 inches. So you place 2 inches on this line here, then we'll mark 23 here. Then we'll go to the other side, place 2 inches on that line, and we'll mark 23 inches. Okay, then we'll join the points together. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to mark our hip measurement. And remember, while I was cutting the top, the hip measurement I used was 52, but I said I added 2 inches to it, which makes our original hip measurement, if we minus 2 from that 52, will give us 50 inches. So that 50 divided by 4 rather will give us 12.5. Then we'll add 1 inch for sewing allowance, so it will give us 13.5. So we'll mark 13.5 here and the upper side here as well. And we'll come to the crotch line here and mark 13.5 also. Then we'll connect the points together with a straight line. So here now, the crotch line, we'll measure her thigh. We take our thigh measurement there. Our thigh is 30 inches. 30 divided by 2. We're going to divide our thigh by 2, not by 4. So it will give us 15. Then we'll add 1 inch to it, make it 16 inches. So we'll mark 16 inches on the crotch line here. So here now, I will measure it to see the difference between the thigh and the hip, and it is 2.5 inches. Then I'll come to this side, then mark on 1.5 inch. I mark it like that. Then I'll connect to form my crotch. Okay, so the next thing I'll be doing is I'm going to take the measurement of my crotch line, okay, and divide it by 2. So here I have 16 inches for the crotch length, all right, the width like that, then divided by 2 will give me 8 inches. So I come up here, I mark 8 inches from the side there, I mark 8 inches inward. Okay, then I'll come down here as well, then mark the 8 inches from this side inward like so. So for the tie here, the round measurement here is 24 inches, and we'll add 4 inches to the 24. The 4 inches is for sewing allowance, okay? So 1 2 3 4, making 28. So 28 now divided by 2 will give us 14 inches. Then I'll minus half an inch from that 14 inches, making 13.5. So 13.5 now divided by 2 will give us 6.7. So this is for the front panel of the trouser. Okay, so we'll place 6.7 on that point, on that marking there. They'll mark 13.5 here. Then I'll mark it on this point as well. So the next thing I'll be doing is to connect this point to this point. All right, like this. So for the waist, since the trouser does not have a zip, it has an elastic band, we'll be using the hip measurement on the waist area as well. Okay, so the next thing is to join this place to this point to connect the 2 points together. So you see this part here, we will not cut it out. We will leave it and use it for our fake zipper fly, but to not have a zip in it, but the trouser is going to look as if it has a zip. So the next thing we'll be doing is we'll come here, we'll measure it. It is 2.5. The measure from that point to this point is 2.5. Then we'll mark the 2.5 from down here till we get to the top. So 2.5 there, then 2.5 there, then at the top also mark 2.5. Then we'll connect the points together. So the next thing is you come to this upper part here, then you mark half an inch downward. Okay, mark half an inch downward. After that you shape it out, but before shaping it out, I will need to trim out the excesses on this front part here. Then I will now fold it and shape it out. So here you are going to cut it this way. On a normal day we are supposed to cut it off, but we will not cut it off. We will stop on this part because we are having a fake zipper fly. Then you notch it at the top there. But if we are not going to put the fake zipper fly, you will cut that place off totally. All right guys, so the next thing is, you see this point here, we'll measure it this place from here to this front here. You're going to take the measurement. What I have here is 5.5 divided by 2 will give us 2.7. So you mark that 2.7 points. Please do not forget to do the marking here, because this point here is where the back panel is going to start from at the back. Okay, so don't forget to notch this side at the upper part here and fold it. Okay, so then you come here, you measure half an inch downward, you mark it, then join this point to that point with a straight line, then you trim it out. So once I'm done trimming this upper part out, I'm going to cut the down part, then the other side as well. And don't forget to notch this side, that point, do not forget to notch it. Then you come to the side and open it up. You know it's on fold, so you open it up. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut the back panel. So for the back panel, I have my fabric on fold and it's folded into two. Then the front panel is placed on it because I'm using it to cut out the back panel. And as you can see, the front panel is not starting on the same point where the back panel is starting from. So you will leave 3 inches space, okay, between the front panel and the back panel at the upper side, okay, before you now arrange your front panel on it. Then make sure that the fly is on fold. Then you see this point that I asked you to mark that time, you extend it upward like so. Then on the line you mark 2.5 inches. Then we'll come to this side, okay, where our front panel stops at. Then you draw a straight line outward like that, okay, like that. Then remember guys, for the hip measurement it was 13.5. So let's measure it again. What we have here is 13.5, okay, on the waistline as well. So what we are going to do is we'll place our tape on this 2.5 inch mark up here. Then we'll put it on the mark on that line we extend outward on that side. Then we'll mark where the 13.5 stops out. Then we connect the points together. The 2 points, will connect them together like so, okay. So that is the point where the 13.5 stops at. So I'm going to extend the crotch line on the front panel outward onto the back panel. Then from this point here, I'm going to mark 2.5 inches outward. Then I'm going to mark 1 inch on this point. I'll mark 1 inch here, okay. And if you're wondering how that 1 inch came about, remember the round tie at the base here for my client is 24 inches. So I added 4 inch sewing allowance to it, 1 inch for each side, making 4. So plus 24 making 28 inches. Then 28 divided by 2 making 14. Then I minus half an inch from it, making 13.5. So it was that 13.5 we divided into 2 to cut out the front panel. Then now that 13.5 you add it together to give us 27. Then 1 inch, it's if you minus 27 from 28 to give us 1 inch. So that 1 inch is what we are adding to the back panel. All right, so this is the 1 inch here, the difference between the front panel and the back panel. So we are adding it to the back panel. Then we'll connect these points to the crotch area. All right, so the next thing is to come to the inner thigh of the front panel and measure what you have. What we have here is 10.5. Then we'll measure it out on the inner thigh of the back panel. So wherever the 10.5 stops out, you are going to mark it there. You mark that point. So on this point here, you place your tape like this and measure 2.5. all right, then you connect to this point, okay. Then guys, see, remember the front crotch is 1.5 from this point outward, okay, is 1.5, and the back panel on is 2.5. so the difference is always 1 inch, okay. Then you place your tape like this and you connect the points like that on the upper side. Then you lift the front panel up, then you connect the 2 points together like so. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is to connect these points like this. Draw a straight line to connect to this upper point here, and I am done. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to cut it out. So don't forget that the band is cut together with the trouser. There's no need to cut the band separate again. So the back panel will be on fold, the band will be on fold like this, then also the front panel as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the pocket. For the pocket, I already have it unfolding too. Then for the width of the pocket, I have 13 inches. Then for the length is 15.5. But I'm not going to use all the lengths. I'm still going to reduce it. Then I'll fold it again like this as well. So I have 4 layers now. 1, 3, 4. Okay, I have 4 layers like so. So you remember this line where our measurement starts from. Okay, you know this is where the band is going to stop at. Okay, so you know if you are adding band separately to your trouser, your pocket will start from where the main trouser is starting from before adding the band. So in this situation now, this line here will come up by half an inch. So this point, this new point is where our pocket is going to start from. Then we'll mark 6 inches downward. So the next thing I'll be doing is I'll mark my starting points on the pocket and also mark 6 inches for the width measurement of the pocket. So I'm going to mark 6 inches from the starting point down to where the pocket stops at. So now I'm going to place the fabric, the front panel, on the pocket, and I'll make sure that it is directly on the 6 inches line. And also the half an inch I measure upward is on the starting point line on the pocket. Okay, the starting point line on the pocket, I make sure the half an inch mark is on it. Then I will shape it out like this. So the next thing I'm going to do is to notch the half an inch mark we measure upward on the front panel or the pocket together. We notch it together. Then come to this 6 inch point also and notch it on it as well together with the pocket. So the next thing is to measure the length of the pocket. So for my client is 13 inches. So I mark 13 inches. Then I'll connect the 2 points together like this. So the next thing is to cut out the excesses at the upper part and also at the down part and notch it. And we are done. If you have any question, leave it in the comment section. Like and share this video if you find it helpful. And please do not forget to subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.